bass in your ear, buzz the queen of the spark. Lighting up the daylight, burning through the dark. Got a tongue like a whip, sharper than a blade. She's Midwest raised, but her style's homemade. No filter, no shade,
Fuck you! It's fun. It feels empowering.
It does, yeah.
Especially when you do a double finger.
Oh, and then we get those little ones that we had for our,
Oh yeah, and do like
yes, what is it? Quadruple, fuck you.
yes. I still have those. I found them the other day. I was like, these are fun. Hey, I'm Sunny,
I'm Ratchet.
and this is the rant edition. We're gonna rant about whatever the fuck we want to rant about.
So cheers. Get your wine.
Yes, yeah. Get comfy. We're gonna be here a minute.
Oh my god, I've needed this. So you're welcome to our girls' day.
Yes, girl time.
Yeah,
We all need to gather and get our bitchery out sometimes.
I love that.
Yeah,
Bitchery.
yeah, exactly. I'm the wicked bitch of the West.
That's actually a good password. I like that one.
And so I had to look because you have that little password keeper. You do with an iPhone. I don't know if that's with other phones, but so I finally looked because I could not figure it out, and it was crazy AF, and then a series of other things. But I was like, man, I was talking to my coworker. I was like, man, I must have had a certain feeling that day. I was feeling crazy AF.
There's been a couple times I've been so frustrated about picking a password. I'm like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
I mean, today might be another crazy AF day. I had a crazy AF day this week.
Tell me about it.
I was so angry that I was screaming and throwing things, and that is not like me.
That is not like
And I was cussing. I know you. So I had to call my bestie and be like, oh my God, this is what happened and this is what I did. And I'm sitting here ashamed, and you're like, yeah. So bitch.
well, it's just like, don't. I'm really proud of you for not eating it because you eat it so much all the time.
I do. And I've thought a lot through it because honestly, like we all have these times where we get in arguments, and especially we'll have big ones with our spouses or partners, right? And we had a big disagreement. I was literally having flashbacks to a time with my ex-husband that I went through a similar thing. Like I felt like I was seeing reality and seeing both at the same time. I know people hate this word, but I would definitely say I was triggered. And I was really like reliving some serious former trauma, and I lost my shit. Yeah.
I mean, rightly so. I would have lost my shit too in that situation.
So I know I had my beef with my spouse. And you can share whatever you do or don't want to, but I know that you've had your beef. You've had it out with your spouse. Mahogany Mama also, I was talking to her, she had it out with her spouse. She got super mad.
Cool.
So,
I'm glad that she didn't eat it either.
yeah. No, we were all cussing. We were all cussing our husbands in the last week.
We were.
So I don't know.
And rightly so. Like I know I have a mouth, and I know, like once I get started and rolling, it's really hard for me to I know how to cut to the quick when I get into that state. So that's a fault of mine. That's something I need to work on. It didn't happen this past week. I annihilated him, and I'm not saying I love my husband. I really love my husband, and I hate the fact that I hurt him that way. I do, but I have to stand by what the fight was about, and it was about ice, and
which we'll get into that shit.
yeah. So and I can't just sit back and pretend like nothing is going on. Like he is,
Yeah.
basically. And I'm like, you fucking married a Native woman who has 3 Mexican kids, and has a son in the army. It affects you.
Yes, it does.
That's my cat.
Yeah. But she's cute.
She's also a bitch.
Yeah. She's the studio cat. She yeah. This is bitch central, so.
I am sorry I hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
I am very sorry about that. However, I'm not sorry about my stance, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because I do feel remorseful for losing it like that. My husband's never seen me yell at him. I've never screamed at him, and I screamed and I threw things at him, which I'm still hurting deeply about that, because if the roles were reversed and he had done that to me, I would consider it abusive. So I feel like I was kind of abusive towards my spouse, and it just hurts me.
There's my cat.
Yeah, there's a studio cat. Maybe she'll hiss at me. I did feel something that actually kind of made me feel better is I did finally go to work on Friday, and I was talking to one of my colleagues, and he's somebody I have a lot of respect for, and he's a little bit older than me. I do like to talk to him because I feel like he gives me fatherly advice. And, he could tell I was having a hard time and talk to me, and I told him about, just being ashamed of that. He's like, oh, I've been there. I get it. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make me feel quite as bad if if this is something that happens sometimes, I don't know.
I mean, we are only human, and in the state of the society that we live in right now, temper's little. I'm not saying it's like condoned.
I do. I was out of my mind, and that does not happen much.
It doesn't. So I feel like that should be the first thing that he sees. Like, this is not my wife. I have put her to this situation to where she is reacting in this aggressive manner that is not my wife. What the hell am I doing? And let me fix it.
Well, he's not holding it over my head. I'm holding it over my head.
Well, I know.
But you're saying he should.
Yes.
Maybe
reflect.
Yeah. Well, instead we just joke about it. I saw this trailer for something called it's the anti-hero version of Superman. Bright something. Anyways, he's trying to start a lawnmower, and he gets mad and accidentally chucks it across the field, and I was like, oh, I've been there. So we gotta laugh about that.
So he got a little ratchet.
I did. And I don't know, like, my mom also, sweetest lady, and I think I've even talked about her on here before. Sweetest lady. But man, if you push her to the point that she snaps, like she really snaps. So my husband's a bottler. But I'm not. I express still. There's tensions. In any relationship, there's tensions.
Yeah.
I traumatized my husband, actually, and my son, because he could hear it. He was so sweet. I went out to check on him after I, calmed down, and he was sitting out there with a big walking stick holding it. He's like, Mom, are you okay? I was like, oh my God. I said, baby, it was not Scott. That was, he's like, I heard a lot of rustling around. I said, that was me. I was like, I lost it bad, and I started throwing things, and I'm sorry, And he was like, jeez, Mom. He's like, why would you do that? Like, I'm sorry. And then he was like, well, I'm glad my girlfriend doesn't do that. And I said, you don't live with her yet.
Exactly.
Just wait. He was like, oh my gosh.
I mean, I have been a proponent of this for eons, but all women are crazy. I just happen to own it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've got some crazy too.
I mean, how can we not be? We spend during our reproductive years, it's like 1 week we have of euphoric emotions where we're happy and everything's great, and then the rest of the 3 weeks of the month we're either horny or pissed off. That's it. And we control that shit, so you should give us more credit.
So yes, sometimes I'm like crazy hormonal, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell y'all. This is me. Sorry. And so yeah.
Everybody has a breaking point, and you reached yours.
I did.
And I reached mine.
Yeah.
So
ice
fucking sucks.
I agree. to express the same sentiment a little differently. I think that it is, if you're paying attention, you know that these are the patterns where a president is creating his own personal army. You probably do know, but they pledge their allegiance to the president rather than the country, which is different.
What? No, I did not know that.
Okay. So I've been reading a lot, but there was one that was especially informative. And one of the things, well, I don't know, I've actually heard it a couple of times in a couple places. So that's scary, because that is one thing that this person who said that, they've been in several countries, because this person is like a political correspondent and has worked internationally. So one of the things she was saying is, here's some things that I'm seeing that are things I've seen in other countries where it's moving towards authoritarianism and towards a dictatorship. One of those, things that is alarming is that ICE is pledging its allegiance to President Trump rather than the United States of America. So that's a key thing that's like an indicator of where their loyalties are supposed to be. Now, this is based on what this person said that I read. Have I actually eyewitnessed it? No. But some other facts that, they're just facts. ICE was something where they had 6,000 officers. And so I was reading from a former ICE agent. He also, and this is like, so the article, is having conversations with different people in different areas of expertise. And he was saying that, yeah, ICE is different because before Trump and also before Steve Miller, he was saying that it used to be like, the big fear with ICE agents is that they would not draw their weapon when they needed to, out of fear of making the wrong decision. And now it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is that the majority of ICE agents were hired under Trump, because there was about 6,000 before, hired under the Trump administration.
And they don't get the same type of training.
Exactly.
They get like 46 days. And then they had this immunity bullshit.
Which is something that started with Stephen Miller, and also the Judge Kavanaugh also reinforced a lot of things. Kavanaugh something, that judge allowed for racial profiling. He said, yes, it's legal. So for people to think that it's the same as under the Obama administration, it's not, because of where they pledged their loyalty, because of the numbers, because of the training, because racial profiling and door-to-door sweeps were not something that were practiced before.
Correct. And there was also due process.
Yep, due process is another thing that's not happening.
And you're right. Under Obama, they weren't able to stop you just because you're brown. They weren't able to stop you because you had an accent.
Yes.
But Trump has allowed that to terrorize our communities. He has allowed these people, these thugs. Yes, you're allowed to. But okay, so this is where I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on with our country? Holy hell. Like, they are terrorizing these communities. They are grabbing kids from schools. And yes, I've seen this live. So don't try to say that this is a smear campaign, because it's not. It's something that I've seen from eyewitness accounts. This little kid, 11-year-old little boy, is like walking home from school and an ICE agent grabs him. And it's recorded by a teacher.
I mean, they must be turning a blind eye or not paying attention.
But if they think it's going to stop with the immigrants, they are so wrong.
But I don't think they're thinking, because it already hasn't stopped with the immigrants. That's the issue. U.S. citizens, people are here legally.
Natives.
Yeah. Yes. And they can't even find them. Like, it is not, especially because of them making it okay to profile. Like in Germany, people knew there were concentration camps, but did they pay attention and really, really, truly know what was going on there until afterwards?
And I hope
because I'm very, I'm very worried. Like I've seen the pictures of little Liam in a detention center when they are
1,000 miles away.
legal. Yes, they're legal. He has a mother he could be home with.
They literally took him from Minnesota all the way to Texas. Like, there was no point in that.
No, and the thing is, so here's the thing. There's a million tragedies here because they are being awful. A lot of experts are asking, what is the point of that? And some of the talk is that it is a show of force, not just to scare immigrants, but they're establishing fear for the people.
It's literally what I yelled at my husband.
This is another thing that is part of the process of creating authoritarianism and a dictatorship. However, here's another thing, and I think this is why we have people that support Trump in the face of this. So there's one indicator, there was a study done of what is the key indicator of somebody being a supporter of Trump. So it's been typically Republicans just because of another dynamic I'll get to. It's people who respond to authoritarianism, like it's something where they have a fear of outsiders and they are more comfortable with somebody telling them how to live their lives. They don't think it, like they don't even maybe necessarily consciously know. The person that was talking about this study and stuff that he did, he said another scary factor is it's not like a consistent percentage of the population. Like the older generations, like, people, baby boomers, actually, like you wouldn't know this, but they lived during a time of transition and social awareness and social change and rebellion. And you have a much smaller percentage of authoritarian, but they said the actual largest percentage of authoritarian citizens or people that are authoritarian and respond to that are our younger generations, our young adults.
Not mine.
Well, it's not everybody.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not mine. So I don't know. Were you raised wrong? I don't know.
Well, that's what I was asking. I was like, well, how did that happen? Is it that, because how we talked about generations and stuff like that and generational divides, and I think about that, and I think about how kids in the 90s were running the streets, and now we've got kids that we raised sheltered and afraid of strangers. We raised them afraid of strangers.
Okay. Yes.
And
I was afraid of strangers, so yes.
Right. And so did we teach them this?
I hope not.
I hope not too.
But I can definitely say my children, my adult children, like, they don't necessarily agree with me. Like, they are staunch Republicans. So they're okay with Trump. They're okay with ICE. They're not okay with the fact that immigration has gotten to this point. But they're still there. As much as I love my children, you're still part of the problem. Because if you cannot stand up and say this is wrong, this is not something I'm going to accept in my country, then you are part of the problem. Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe I am kind of complicit in that as well. Because, like I said, they support their president. I don't understand it, but I'm also like, you're an adult. You can make. I don't care that you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Dem. I don't care about any of that. I care about human rights. I care about the fact that kids are afraid to go to school. I care about the fact that women are afraid to go to the grocery store because they're afraid ICE is going to stop them because of the fucking color of their goddamn skin.
Well, yeah, and that's one of those key differences that people who aren't paying attention, or they're turning a blind eye because they'll say things like you can't trust the news and stuff like that. But so they really are either choosing to stick their head in the sand or choosing to turn a blind eye.
But you're still complicit. In the end of the game, when it's all said and done, if you are complicit, if you are compliant in what's going on in our country, you are complicit in it. That is my stance.
Yes. I forget where I was going with that. I think I was basically saying that they're choosing not to know. They're choosing not to pay attention. And so to that vein, that is irresponsible, because how could somebody know? Because the Republicans that I talked to would not be okay with pre-K Liam wasting away in a facility. They would not, but they choose not to know or to say it and say, I doubt it. There was probably something, I think about my mom who grew up in a time where society was changing for the better, and she just can hardly believe that this is where we are now. I think though that so something that in all this stress and all this turmoil, because I've really had to work towards finding a light because it's been hard even for me, is knowing that, God, look at Minnesota. They're giving the biggest fuck you to Trump. They don't care. They are rising up. And that's amazing.
I agree.
And unfortunately, I don't think Minnesota is going to be the last place this happens. I think probably California and Governor Newsom's
But
got
have
the
you
next.
noticed on that note that they're all blue states that they're
Yes, they're targeting blue cities and blue states, and I feel like he's targeting governors that could be a threat to him.
So keep standing strong, guys, because we need you.
I know that Tim Walz has made the statement that he feels like all that has fallen upon his city is because of him and the administration's feelings towards him. And that is very sad because he's trying to be very strong. But I can't imagine feeling like the people that you love and serve are getting the worst of it because of hate for you. That's gotta be rough. But like I said, Minnesota, inspiring.
Very much so.
And in Oklahoma there was supposed to be a facility,
A detention center, but it got eradicated because the people spoke out.
They did, yeah. And so I think even in a red state, even the governor Stitt is speaking out against this, and Stitt, really? Wow. Because he's Republican in a red state.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Holt, the governor of, the mayor of Oklahoma City.
And I do like him.
I did until I saw him talking about this detention center and how great it's going to be for, our state.
Did he really?
Yes, and how much it's going to help with job recruitments and stuff like that. And I'm like,
oh, that's amazing. I remember seeing him talking about, maybe he flip-flopped and I just didn't see it, because I remember him talking about, posting about how, he talked to the people who own the property and they agreed not to sell it, and, saying this was a win.
Well, maybe it was on News Channel 4 morning hours. So I'm just waking up.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure politicians flip-flop.
That's why I don't trust them.
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody who wears a suit for a living.
Well, I feel kind of, okay, so I get absentee ballots, and I made sure, I got to take this scarf off. It's a little hot now. I'm getting worked up and getting going.
Cheers.
Cheers. So there is a mayoral election, February, might be 10th. I know because I've got the absentee ballot, and I was looking, and the person running to oppose David Holt is Matthew Palabras. Okay, I'm gonna look and say it right. But I looked at him because I thought, okay, I'm gonna do my research before I turn my ballot in. Maybe this is a good option. This is a good choice. And I have to say, I do like what he's putting out there. I still can't find it. Maybe it's on Facebook or... Anyways, Hispanic guy. Seems great, but has honestly zero experience.
Maybe that's what we need. I'm tired of these.
That's what people said when they elected Trump.
Don't let me into that.
No, that is
no, but it's I feel like we need to get away from those career politicians. We need to get, regular people in there in office who knows what it's like to live a regular middle class lifestyle. If there is a middle class. Some people say there isn't anymore.
Matthew Polaris. Okay, I'm so sorry. So Matthew Polaris is the other person.
I don't live in Oklahoma City, so I haven't done any research on their mayors.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, that's the person that's running to oppose him. He started his campaign late December. Hispanic guy, so I feel like he could. So when I look at what he says and stuff, I think, okay, this guy would be fantastic at considering the interest in representing the interests of the poor. He's got a good heart, but he's got an experience. And so I think, for me, I think, okay, I like what this guy has to say. I like where his heart is. But I don't know that he's ready for a mayoral job, especially because he's listed nothing of what his occupations have been.
Like he hasn't, like what he's done outside of civil service?
Like anything. Like you just don't know. You don't know what he's done. And so I do think that having somebody with new ideas is a great thing. But I'm not so unhappy with David Holt that I would elect somebody with like no clue as to how they would do. Because like I do think that instead of just jumping straight to mayor, you should probably serve some sort of city office, or if you have some experience that's anywhere relevant to that, like, I don't know, like, I just would like to know where this guy really comes from.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if he didn't have any political experience, as long as he was able to say like, oh yeah, I was, I owned a construction company and it's been for 20 years, or I was a teacher for 15 years, or whatever.
Well, exactly. Like, I would like to know where this guy comes from, because especially just having talk, him being fresh blood is not enough for me.
And signing these petitions that I've seen online about ICE and all that stuff like that, I've gotten a lot of spam text messages about learning how to run for office. So maybe this is something similar. I don't know. I don't know anything about this man.
Yeah, so. I don't know. All I gotta say is I really like where his heart's at, but it's just not enough for me to vote for him as opposed to David Holt, who I feel like I don't agree with everything, but but what I am aware of, I feel like overall, I do like what he's done and how he represents people.
Minus that maybe clip that I saw when I was half awake about him saying, yay, we're getting a detention center. I was a fan of him.
Yeah.
And even if that, I mean, like, I can still be a fan of him and what he's done for Oklahoma City, other than this.
Now, if he had allowed, like, been okay with it and supportive, and we were getting this ICE thing, I would vote for anybody else, honestly.
Right, because this is like in our backyard.
Yeah.
And
well, like, but the reason that they want to build these is not necessarily so they can put Oklahomans in there.
Of course, no, I'm not going to say that.
No. Okay, think about it. A lot of Minnesotans are being sent to Texas. The reason that there's so much money in the budget and why they're trying to find all these places to build ICE facilities is because there's a lot of people that are let go and released because they can't hold them for an infinite amount of time because there's not enough space. The more detention centers they have, the more that they can do that without due process.
They lose them. And then there's rape. Mm-hmm. There have been claims of men being sexually assaulted with their balls being crushed. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the children that are being molested and raped in these facilities? There's one officer, a border control guy, who was actually sentenced because he was forcing this woman to have sex with him so that she could see her daughter. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, these are the men that are nice. These are the men who are at these detention centers. They don't care where they come from. They don't care about their beliefs. They're like, oh, you're a man. We have a quota to meet every day. This is what you need to do. I don't care how you do it. You've got immunity. And so they're pulling guns. They're literally having men on the ground with 3 people on them while they're pepper spraying them.
Well, you have to ask yourself, okay, so, and I am curious because I heard someone saying this and I thought, I really want to see what their propaganda videos are. But they were like, you've got to think about this. Like, who is going to respond to the call to a place where you're going to be able to wear masks, where you're encouraged to be publicly violent, where you're encouraged to use force?
Little men.
What? Well, yes, but you're getting people that are drawn to that. Okay, it's not like, yeah, sure, they've got to make a living, but you're getting people that want to live out those aggressions, why would we expect them to treat them humanely in a detention center?
No, you are correct. You are 100% correct. And this is where we're at.
And that is the difference between Obama's ICE and Trump's ICE. And I do agree that once this is over and once this is in the past and once the majority no longer accepts this, there won't be able to be an ICE.
So
they have vanished it so far.
On that note, they're like they were that bonus, $50,000 bonus that they have. They get $10,000 a year, and they have to guarantee 5 years of service. Our president is only going to be in office for another 3. So, with that being stated, they have signed their souls away for $40,000. That's their 30 pieces of silver.
Okay, so here's a few more interesting things. One, this is why I would be interested in seeing the propaganda for joining ICE. One of the things the person was saying is there's some where it's just like, hey, join ICE, but she said, or he, I can't remember, but anyways, they were talking about how if you watch it, the average person wouldn't know, but they do use these key terms that if you are a Christian nationalist or a white supremacist, these are like kind of key code words they use. And so it is a draw towards Christian nationalists, violent Christian nationalists. And if you're a violent Christian nationalist,
you're not a Christian.
Well, agreed, but also these people don't see brown people as equal. I mean, you remember when we were talking about the white-only communities? I mean, that's the sentiment they have. And these people apparently also think it's okay to abuse people you think are animals. God knows what they do to animals themselves. Like,
right? Because you're evil people.
Yeah, like they're living out something where they don't, like, they're drawing people who don't see these people as human. Okay, and also, my other thing is...
What's your other thing?
Trump has said that if he got reelected, he'd only have to be elected once. Like, I mean, he's made the statement that he doesn't plan on.
Of course not. Why would you build a $200 million ballroom and then leave the house?
Right, like, so he doesn't plan on leaving. But here also is something interesting. I don't know if you picked up on this. It's something I didn't pick up on until recently. But I really think Stephen Miller is like the spin doctor behind Trump, which is crazy.
I mean, I think...
Like, what's he doing?
I think we need to stop having elderly presidents, period. I think there should be... I mean, if a pilot can't pilot after 65, you can't be a politician after 65.
Well, I don't think elderly is the problem, because, like, honestly, like, I know everybody's not...
Career politicians gotta go.
I know not everybody's a Bernie Sanders fan, but that guy is old and he is badass and wants to shake things up and wants to do things, and he does a lot.
Great. But you shouldn't be in politics. You shouldn't be in Congress. If you are so old that if you cannot pass a cognitive test...
I would say Bernie Sanders could probably pass a cognitive test even though he's old.
I'm just saying, if a pilot can't pilot after 65, why the hell do we have politicians? That are career politicians, like, and if
I think that's a little bit ageist.
I'll be ageist then. Okay. I'll own it. But the fact is that we have these people out there who are not even out, like, politicians or senators or House, that are like these ancient people that have been in Congress for 50 fucking years. They're not working for you or me. They're not. They're working for their pocketbook. They're working for that. What are they called? Lobbyist who wants this bill passed. It's going to give them a couple $1 million so they vote yes on this bill. I don't trust any of them.
So in my opinion, if you really start getting out there and you really start reading and investing and learning, you will find people out there that you do think are strong, that you do agree with.
Okay, point to one that hasn't taken a bribe.
Okay, I would say Obama hasn't. He really lived it. He didn't have any scandals.
Okay, I agree with that one. I mean, not the fact that I think that everything he did was great, but I think that he was a genuinely good president.
Mm-hmm. I would bet Bernie Sanders has never taken a bribe.
I can see that. Okay, so thank you.
I think you just have to find the good ones. Oh, did you read I think you may have. I sent you on Facebook the thing about like the Native American man who was talking about the philosophy of in these really hard times, you either find a portal or you find a hole. And he said, like the doom scrolling and the seeing all the bad and the losing the faith is where you find the hole.
Mm-hmm.
But those who see this and fight to move forward and fight to better humanity, those are the people that have found the portal. So it's about finding the portal, not the hole, which gave me a lot of hope. You know, it really encouraged me.
Why did I give you hope?
Because it speaks to all the people that want to make a difference, that don't lose faith in humanity, that still have that hope of saying humanity's worth fighting for. So I'm going to find that portal so that I can be the change.
I feel like
society better.
I am doing that though. I feel like not being quiet and making my voice known in this little corner of the internet that I have is my way of portaling.
I agree.
Okay, I just didn't know you were like doom scrolling. I was like, but we have to doom scroll. We have to understand.
No, I thought of kind of what your husband's saying was like kind of giving this excuse that it's just all too sad. He's looking at the doom scrolling and finding a hole. Whereas I believe we are finding a portal. That's what I was saying.
Okay, sorry.
You're like, what are you trying to say?
No, I was like,
damn it.
No. I was just like, okay, well, this is going to be one of those things like, okay, we're just going to disagree to disagree. Because we've done that a lot. Because we do have different views on different things.
We do, yeah.
But we're still friends.
Exactly.
I still love you.
Yeah, we don't cuss each other out and try to point out the worst things about people or make shit up.
On one of my posts, and this is like an all-time favorite comment that I've gotten, because I get a lot of hate when I post shit.
She's the sass in your ear, but the queen of the smart. Lighting up the daylight, burning through the dark. Got a tongue like a whip, sharper than a blade. She's Midwest raised, but her style's homemade. No filter, no